Live from 2 News. This is Talkin Real, powered by Strong Auto Group.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Talkin Real and Talkin Sports. Tonight, RSL adds Juan Manuel Martinez, or as the people know him,
it's the burrito.
El Burrito.
The burrito.
All right, what can you tell us about him?
29 years old, the second player ever to come from Boca Juniors straight to Major League Soccer. He's a hybrid. He can be an attacker, he can be a wide player, he can be a point striker, he can be a number 10 if you need to. But the most important thing about Burrito, Juan Manuel Ramirez, is he's a goal scorer. And when you bring a player at his age, 29 years of age, from Boca Juniors straight to Major League Soccer, you expect him to have an immediate impact. And that's what my expectations are. Again, width, strength, speed, 5'9", 175 pounds, but he's been tearing up Argentina for years.
Now Martinez will be added, El Burrito will be added to the RSL roster pending receipt of his P1 visa and international transfer certificate. In order to accommodate his signing as a designated player on RSL's roster, target allocation money was used to lower the budget charge of Kyle Beckerman, freeing up a designated player slot. Burrito scored a goal while making 4 appearances for the Argentinian national team in 2011-12, and there's an Argentine on RSL's roster who's happy right now.
Yeah, I know a lot about him because I follow the Argentine football a lot. So I saw him playing a lot of games. He's an excellent player. You know, he's good with the feet, pretty fast, a smart guy. You know, I'm very excited about he came here and see what he can do for us. Yeah, I'm excited about good players, you know, and I think that he is a good player. So I'm excited, you know, it doesn't matter if he coming from Argentina or from China, you know, he's a good player, and I think he's gonna help us a lot. So I'm very excited to play with him, you know.
All right, stamp of approval from Javi. Now, you mentioned he can play multiple positions.
Yep.
Is there a best position for him in RSL's 4-3-3?
Well, I think it depends on who's available at the time. I think right now with Sebastian Jaime being so strong in the central point of the attack, you play him off the wings. You've got Plata on one side, now you have Burrito on the other. He's a difference maker in a lot of ways, and I think the one thing Javier Morales talked about, I don't necessarily agree about it doesn't matter where he's from, because this player in particular, he knows the league through Javier Morales and vice versa, the language, vice versa. And so I think Javi's going to do a very, very good job of getting him acclimated very quickly.
Okay, one thing you said there while we were watching the highlights kind of caught my attention. When Plata broke his foot,
yeah,
you said he's going to be good again, but when he comes back, he's not going to be good right away. It's going to take time. But here, you're not expecting a big transition time.
No, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. Let's take a look at some of the goals that he scored over the years, and in particular, anywhere that he kind of finds himself in the movement, top of the 18-yard box, watch the way he spins off the defender. The agility to manipulate the ball from the right foot to the left foot, and then far post, side net, an unbelievable goal scored. Well, what about when he's out wide? Well, keep an eye right here at the end line. Quick give and go, he bursts. Watch the breakaway speed. That is at a full sprint with the ball at his feet, gets isolated, gets the goalkeeper leaning. Well, now you've seen 2 different ways of scoring. What about a third? Aerial presence in the air. Rises up like a salmon, snap down header inside the 18-yard box. And again, take another look at the way he's constantly floating around the 18 as he plays this ball wide, top of the 18, ball goes in, and then right at the top of the penalty spot, rises up well, great goal scored. I think he's going to be a difference maker in a lot of ways, DJ, and I honestly don't think it matters exactly where he lines up as long as he's on the field with guys like Sebastian Jaime, Javier Morales, and Juan Plata.
All right, well, RSL coming up the tail end of a very busy stretch. They could use him as soon as possible. RSL's never won a road game in the U.S. Open Cup. They have tied and then advanced, but never won one outright. They weren't able to end the streak Wednesday night in Kansas City. We'll pick it up, 24th minute. RSL looking for the opening goal. Tony Beltran, beautiful ball. Olmes Garcia finishes.
Oh, it's a great ball from Tony Beltran, up and over the top, forces the back line to face their own goalkeeper. Slight hesitation, Olmes in behind, and it's been a tough season for Olmes Garcia. Good to get him off the schneid.
35th minute, dangerous free kick for Sporting.
Benny Feilhaber once again. My question is, who's responsible for Sonny Mustavar? In no way, shape, or form was he marked at all in the top of the six.
80th minute, Dom Dwyer making things happen for Sporting, going around Vasquez, creating at the top of the box.
He spins Vasquez like a top, pings this ball off the post, and where's the run? Who is covering Benny Feilhaber? Wasn't an easy play to finish off. Benny Feilhaber, right place, right time, technical finish to give Sporting Kansas City the lead.
2-1 Sporting with the lead. 85th minute, they take advantage of Aaron Maughan, a moment he'd probably rather have back, and it's 3-1.
Well, you can't walk away from Sporting Park with a result, not marking your man on a set piece, and allowing 2 breakaway opportunities when defensively, all you got to do is put a foot in Dom Dwyer, or you've got to kick Benny Feilhaber. A little bit of afters, Abdoulaye Mansali throwing his body into the goalkeeper, Tim Melia, and then late in the match, you would see Olmes Garcia pick up a straight red. Now, that's not going to affect him in MLS. That'll just affect him next year in U.S. Open Cup play.
RSL loses 3-1. Here's Tony Beltran after the loss.
I feel like every time we play here, there's always a couple waves, maybe 15, 20 minutes where we're really under it. You know, they, again, push numbers very high and serve a lot of balls in, and that puts you under pressure. And with the crowd behind them, you know, it can be tough. So for the spell in the first half, we did a good job denying them anything, but, you know, obviously in the second half, it's a different story.
Baliol. Oh, it's Morales will bend it inside, settle there, quick shot, and a score for Real Salt Lake. Blocked up. Real Salt Lake gets the victory. They're on top of Group G.
As the ball falls to Cherry, he's going to line one up. Oh, what a goal! His second of the game and 4th of the season.
Garcia got it all wrong. It's Dwyer. Can Dwyer finish it? Make that name it. Christian, name it. And Sporting Kansas City now surely on to the finals.
So RSL plays 4 games in 3 countries in just 12 days. They go 1 win, 3 losses. Dunny, in a league where basically Vancouver's the only one with a winning road record, this was always going to be a rough stretch. I think looking back, if they'd won in D.C. and held that 2-goal lead, there'd be a very different vibe right now.
Well, we said it during the broadcast. If they got in the halftime break up 3-0, you close up shop, wipe your hands, you head to Guatemala. That's not the case. Listen, there's a lot of lowlights coming off these 4 games. I think most importantly, when you take a look at the way they conceded the goals, that's what's been the disappointing thing. 13 goals in 4 matches. Yeah, they got the 1-0 win in Guatemala. Good result in CONCACAF Champions League. But we talked about it. You can't really compartmentalize league versus tournament. You've got to compartmentalize it game by game, and it just hasn't been good enough.
All right, you take a look at the MLS standings now. Vancouver in the West, leading LA by 2 points, and Dallas by 4 at the top of the Western Conference. Drop down to what's relevant to RSL fans. Well, RSL is 8th, 2 points behind Houston, 3 behind Seattle. With a Saturday game against Portland, a win there would move them within 4 points of the Timbers. Now, 2 ginormous home games looming for RSL. Portland Saturday, Seattle a week from Saturday. These 2 teams are 5th and 6th. These are the teams RSL has to catch if they're going to make the playoffs. Dunny, tell us what to watch for when the Timbers come to town.
Well, action starts now. There's no way that Real Salt Lake can afford to drop any points at Rio Tinto Stadium. 5 home matches left, and it starts this weekend with the Portland Timbers. So for me, there's 2 danger guys that you absolutely want to keep an eye on, and Fernando Adi first and foremost, the big number 9. As he floats in the box, look at the way he pushes Eric Garrick. Right place, right time, just a quick little touch, and that would open up the scoreline against the Chicago Fire. Well, playing off the shoulder of Fernando Adi is going to be Diego Valeri. As he flares to that right-hand side, you can see how quick in the transition Portland can be. And Valeri, usually provider, also can be goal scorer. Take a look at the Portland starting 11. And obviously the 2 center backs, Liam Ridgewell and Nat Borchers, will be the leaders across that back line. Alvis Powell will want to get up. Will Johnson, Diego Chara will sit. Valeri will push one way, and then he'll find Milano, the new Argentine signing, who just was a part of that designated player addition through the target allocation money. Fernando Adi up top, Darlington Nagbe on the side. Well, what about Real Salt Lake? I think it's a very similar lineup to what we saw at Kansas City. The big question mark, Aaron Maughan Elias Vasquez. What does their partnership look like, considering that defensively, Real Salt Lake has been conceding a ton of goals? Kyle Beckerman looked to sit alongside Mulholland. Javi's going to pull the strings. Sebastian Jaime on one side, and you've got Olmes Garcia on the other. I think there's a lot of question marks for this team. For me, DJ, though, the big question mark is, what is the response? What does the start look like to this game at home against the Portland Timbers? Because you know Caleb Porter's going to have them flying, Will Johnson's going to have them flying, Nat Borch's going to have them flying, and this is a team that needs 3 points at Rio Tinto as much as Real Salt Lake needs the 3 points.
I don't know that you can answer this. We may need a lawyer to answer this. We talked at the top about El Burrito and the signing. But in the fine print that I read later in the story, okay, so there's visa and there's other paperwork that will make all of us, our heads spin. When will fans actually see him in a jersey? Do you dare even guess at that?
Well, I don't want to put a date on it, because as we've seen earlier in the season, there are issues that are government issues when it comes to having work permits, having transfer certificates. Now the fact that he's bought himself out, that he's a free player, it should be a little bit cleaner, but it still has to go through the Argentine FA and come through Major League Soccer. All
right, well, we'll stay tuned for that. Let's get to the soccer notes. Time for the Master Electrical keys to the game. Portland, what do you think?
Well, about the loss in the Open Cup, it is time to move on, and you've got to figure out a way, how quickly can you get past that disappointment, knowing you could have hosted the final, and then return your focus back to Major League Soccer. What about controlling the tempo, controlling the pace, especially against a Portland Timbers side that you know pings the ball around, especially in the midfield, and with those type of ankle biters, Will Johnson leading the charge, you've got to get the ball moving as quickly as possible out from underneath the feet. And 3, you got to dictate the style of play at home. Again, 5 home matches left for Real Salt Lake. It's been a tough season. Everybody understands what's gone on with suspensions, injuries, international duty. It hasn't been good enough by anyone's standards. You got to finish up strong. You got to look for a minimum of 15 points. That's 5 consecutive wins at Rio Tinto Stadium to end the year.
When Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream and Dr. Dre are part of the game plan, it's a good game plan.
Solid.
All right, remember, you can watch RSL and Portland Saturday night right here on KMYU. Coverage begins at 7:30. And for all your soccer needs, follow Dunny on Twitter and Instagram at Brian Dunseth, and on Facebook at Brian Dunseth1. I'm on Twitter and Facebook at David DJ James. BYU with a major schedule change. Highlights from the PGA Championship are next. Stay with us on Talkin Sports.